All right, Mr. Gildard, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We were just talking before when we were sitting down getting ready. You have quite a rich history here at Marist. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I started out as a student here at Marist in 1970. And when I was a freshman, Bill O'Reilly was a senior, and he was quite as witty and charming then as he is today. I graduated in 1974, went to work for the City of Poughkeepsie Police Department, worked there for 23 years. While I was there, I was involved on the board of directors of the Red Fox Club, the athletic booster club. I also started teaching as an adjunct in the criminal justice department. I taught for 15 years. And then I went and I got my master's in public administration here. I graduated again in 1992. And after I retired from the police department, I got a job here as the Assistant Director of Human Resources at Marist because my master's in public administration, my concentration was labor relations and contract negotiations. And in 2002, the Director of Security position opened, and I took that position, and I've been in the job for 13 years. So I've seen Marist grow from 3 dorms, Leo, Sheehan, and Champagnat, to where it is today. And I was a commuter student, lived in Wappingers, and came back and forth to classes. Marion Hall was the gym. Not a lot of people know that, and we all had to take 1 credit of gym class when you were a freshman here. So it's got a great history. I've enjoyed well over 40 years of being part of Marist College, and have 2 sons that graduated, and 1 teaches here now. He's a professor in the athletic training program.
Really?
That's so that's it. Like I say, very short resume, 2 jobs, 1 wife.
Not a bad thing at all, though.
There you go.
That's great, and congratulations on the 13 years being in that director position. It seems you came to Marist and stepped away, and then you came back.
Full circle, yeah.
Well, with all of that expansion that you've seen, more people, more parking. I wanted to get started with that because a lot of my friends do get frustrated with the parking situation all across campus. And so with the snow going on and the construction, the new science building, how do you prioritize where people need to park versus how the snow has to get cleaned? Tell me about that process.
Well, we lay out the parking. As you know, it's done by credits, and the higher the credits that you have, the closer you get to your residence hall. And that just seems to be the fair way of doing it. A lot of people, have high priority points. They're in clubs, they're athletes. They do everybody does a lot of things here. But I think credits has to be the dividing line, because you could be a sophomore and have 30 priority points. You could be a junior and have 30 priority points. So then where do I put you? So we go by credits, and that's how we've been working it. We have to adapt with the needs of the college. They're building the new science building. They're also going to start on the new dormitories on the north end. So we're going to have to adjust, and we work with the physical plan office to kind of coordinate what we're going to do and where people are going to move to. And unfortunately, the science building is in the middle of Lot 9, the Beck Place East lot. So we just we expanded the lot. We tore down a building, as you've noticed, and we've added some spaces. The total number of spaces is now about 7 or 8 less than the original lot. So we haven't taken away any spaces. We've just asked people to adjust their walking style.
Right. Only 7 or 8 spaces. I didn't know that.
Yes.
That makes it seem a lot more reasonable.
Yes.
And I know I was in that lot where the construction is being built, and now I'm right across the block. So not too much of a problem. But this semester was definitely different. We had all those snow days.
Yep.
We lost probably 3 Mondays, was it?
3 Mondays.
And so everyone always anxiously awaits that email saying classes are canceled. What factors do you use to make that decision? Granted, professors, people traveling, commuter students like you once were.
get up and, well, first of all, we have our own weather service. It's a local company that does the local weather. So we don't, we rely on them because they have a good track record of predicting the weather in our local area. You know, I don't want to look at New York City's weather because that could be different. I don't want to look at Albany's because that could be, you know, different also. But what I do is we get the weather reports prior to storms. I watch those, how much snow we're going to get. And then I'm the guy that gets up at 4:30 in the morning while you're all still asleep. And I call the local police departments, how's the road conditions. I call the highway department for Dutchess County to get an idea of how the roads in the area are. And then I call our security department and our grounds crew that's on duty, you know, at the campus. Because not only do I have to make sure the roads are safe and passable, but I have to make sure the campus is prepared for everybody to come in. So then what I do is I take all of those factors into consideration, and then I call the registrar, Judy Ivankovic, and we discuss the class schedule for the day and where it would be the best cut, you know, to cut it for, you know, start at 11, start at 12:30. If it's a Wednesday and it's snowing all morning, we don't want to, you know, start, or we may have to wait till 2 o'clock. So sometimes it's a guessing game. You know that the weather forecasters are not totally accurate, and neither am I. One time we was supposed to snow all day. I canceled class for the whole day, and by 10 or 11 o'clock the sun was out. So you win some, but most of them were pretty accurate. So, but there's a lot of things to go into the decision. It's not made, you know, just, oh, let's cancel today. So
no,
it's not scientific, but we try the best we can.
But I have to ask, sometimes if morning classes are canceled and afternoon classes are canceled, do you sometimes feel like, well, just cancel the evening classes too?
No, because there's a certain amount of hours that everybody has to have, and because the first Monday was Martin Luther King Day, then we lost you know, 2 more Mondays to snow. We really wanted to make sure we could get the hours in without having to have makeup classes, and the weather forecast cooperated with that plan. So, but it really is based on, you know, student safety, commuters, professors having to come in, administrative staff, and things like that. So, like I say, there's a lot that goes into it, and I try to do the best I can. You never make any friend, you know, everybody. You're never everybody's friend.
You're never going to make everyone happy.
That's right.
We got through it, and it's almost March now.
I know.
So your job's about to get easier.
That's true.
Well, switching gears a little bit, I'm curious, what would you consider the most pressing security issue on campus right now?
Most pressing security issue, I think internally, we really look at the alcohol use of the students. I mean, we almost every weekend we have, you know, 1, 2, 3 people becoming intoxicated, having to use the ambulance service, go to the hospital, and we're really working with student affairs to try and quell that. I understand it's college. When I was here, the drinking age was 18, but it's a serious situation when people get inebriated to the point where they lose control. And, you know, knock on wood, so far we haven't had any serious injuries or deaths from, you know, overuse of alcohol. But it's a big concern for us because, you know, when you're off campus and you're drinking, a lot of other things can happen. You're in the city of Poughkeepsie or other bars. You know, we get fights at the bars. We have, you know, people that they don't stay with their group. They go off and, you know, with somebody they don't know. So there's a whole lot of crimes that are offshoots to, you know, just plain alcohol use that we really are trying to make sure that, you know, the students think. And you've seen my famous emails, but you know, we want you to think about safety and you know, be careful when you go to different places. And we find that alcohol is problematic because it sometimes makes people act the way they don't want to act, and it makes them victims of crimes.
Okay, and talking about those emails that you send out, something happens, is a vandalism on campus, or someone is hurt or does something wrong. Have you seen this person? If you see something, say something. Alcohol can play into that too. How do you go about finding justice in a way that is fair to everybody?
Well, most of the time in those instances, I've done that. What you saw last week about 4 times, in the past, and every one of them, the person has come forward. But in every one of them, the person was intoxicated when they committed whatever deed, vandalism or whatever happened. So again, alcohol takes a toll on people's judgment, and they do things that they regret later. But we also have to not allow vandalism to make the campus look bad. It's that broken windows theory. When all the windows in the factory are broken, nobody cares for the place. So.
And it does a great job of keeping everybody in check, keeping our campus.
It does, and a lot of people ask about, well, geez, do students really call and tell you who the person is? And every time, within 10 minutes to an hour, we get calls identifying the person in the picture. And the reason for that is a lot of the students, most of them, take pride in what they have here and what they're paying for as our customers. And they get upset. I mean, I've really had some emails from students that are very upset at the vandalism that occurs because it sheds bad light on everybody, and they don't want to be that way, and they want to make sure that person is held accountable for what they do. And most of the time, the person goes to student conduct, and like I say, the alcohol plays in. But what we want to do is make the person understand that what they've done has hurt us all, by not taking good care of the facilities we have.
And it's good to see people who do come forward, and I would assume it's a much better decision than to, have.
Well, as I say in my emails, come to see me before I come to get you. And the one time we were on the way out, the person that had done something lived off campus up on upper West Cedar Street, but in a private house. And we're walking out the door with the picture in hand to go to this person's off-campus house. And here comes this person up the stairs from, in Donnelly to the security office, and he stops us, and he's wearing a nice golf shirt and a pair of khakis, and he says, "Excuse me, I think you're looking for me." So he turned himself in, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's you. Come with us." So, but like I say, everybody's turned themselves in, and it works out. But the people are held accountable, and some need, a little higher level of, assistance with an alcohol problem, and we make sure they get that help.
Exactly. Okay. Well, going back to the parking briefly before we head out, I live in Lower Fulton, and the Beck lot, and carrying the groceries all the way up across the bridge, a little bit of a hassle. I know I like to sometimes leave my car, maybe by the tennis court, bring my groceries in. Other people do that too. Just to have an understanding for that.
Yes, and if you look at our policies online, we have an unloading policy in the parking procedures, and you can call and tell the dispatcher you're going to be unloading for 15 or 20 minutes, and they'll give you a grace period, and get the person's name, say it's Officer who, so when you call up later that you got a ticket in that lot, I can say, oh yeah, he called, and the officer will verify it. So same with students who live in Foy. We have the same thing. You can't park there all day, but if you have to unload, we understand that. It's it's like your own hometown. You know, you can pull up to a parking meter, not put any money in, run in the store, come out, and you got a ticket. You're only there a few minutes. You know, sometimes you can park for 2 hours and there's no ticket because, you know, we're tied up on something else. So, but we do make allowances for, you know, dropping off and deliveries and things like that.
And Marist Security does a great job of keeping our campus safe. I always feel like everything is in order and things are running the way they should.
They're good group of people. There's, believe it or not, about 78 people on my staff here in the security department. When I was a student, there was a security director and 1 student worker. So again, that has grown tremendously. But part of the campus safety plan is that we have the officers in the residence hall, and they make, you know, they have to watch the people swipe in. We have officers in the academic buildings. A lot of colleges don't do that, or they have students do it, and we think that we need an officer, you know, there. But you have to remember too that a lot of the officers, like myself, are moms and dads and aunts and uncles. Their children go here, their children have been here. So, you know, we're looking out for you. You know, it's not always fun because we have to give parking tickets and take the beer away, but all of the people that are out there are looking out for the students and the safety of everybody in the Marist community.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us.
All right.
And we have your information up on our show if anyone needs to contact security or send you an email.
Sure. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.